But we really are trying to not just be an anonymous gig economy site where people are just doing things for you and you never see them again. We really want to highlight the people behind the services that are being provided. So currently you can actually list a service for anything, anything that's legal, of course. And we've had some really interesting services listed on our site, and we love that because we want people to go really deep and ask themselves, what do I really love to do that is kind of weird and quirky that I haven't figured out how to monetize? So we have, magicians and intuitive healers, and we actually have someone who claims to be a ghost buster and a negative energy healer. My own mom will teach you how to grow your own vegan leather out of kombucha bacteria through video chat. So what is my backstory and why am I doing this? So back in 2009, before the gig economy was really like a thing, I was a single, broke mom in the Bay Area, and I had to leave my really high-paying sales job because I had an eating disorder and go on disability. And the reason why that sucked is that some days I was doing really, really well, and I actually could have gone to work. But jobs don't work like that. You can't just say, hey, I'm doing well today, let me work, and now I'm not doing well, I can't come in. And so I was kind of stuck, and I just had to stay there until I was like really finally well enough. So that meant I was pretty broke, and I was pretty miserable sometimes doing that. So this is actually a worldwide problem because there are people all across the world that can't go to their traditional job, their 9 to 5 or whatever it is because of a disability. They have to take care of an elderly family member. They don't have childcare, they don't have transportation, whatever it is. And billions of dollars are missing from the world's GDP because of all this untapped potential and reliance on social services. Our social services system is incredibly broken. And it does not reward people for practicing or experimenting with self-sufficiency. So it's like, hey, you got a job, now we're cutting off your food stamps. Good luck with your, minimum wage, job there. And so, that kind of sucks. And I personally know from getting out of the social services system several times and growing up in extreme poverty as a child, that it's really hard. It's like an act of God, and most people don't get out, or many people won't get out. So that was kind of my light bulb moment. I was like, okay, well, I want this alternative way. At that time back in 2009, there wasn't, Uber and all these other things and stuff like that going on. And so at the time, I was trying to take another class. I desperately needed a statistics teacher. I couldn't afford one. I thought, wouldn't it be great if I could just go do some sales strategy, this thing that I'm really good at, and then in exchange, I can get this statistics teacher, and it would be so amazing, and the life could go on, And so, we do have Uber and TaskRabbit and Craigslist and all these gig economy, sites have popped up, but they're all usually focused on one vertical. So you can get your dog walked here and your house cleaned there and your tasks ran over there. And we wanted to do the crazy thing that people have told me repeatedly that I shouldn't be doing. We wanted to just open it up and say, well, if you want to be a cake baker or an intuitive healer, then you should be able to earn a living doing that. Like, why not? There's somebody out there who wants to pay you for it. Not everybody wants to drive for Uber. I remember sitting in an Uber one time talking to somebody on my way to an event, and I asked her, like, why are you doing Uber? And she's like, I actually hate it. I was like, all right, I really don't want to hear that from my Uber driver right now. She's like, no, I'm actually a hair salon stylist, but my salon is being remodeled, and now I'm stuck doing this. And I was like, that sucks. You should be able to go from place to place to place, cutting and styling hair, doing what you love and what you're good at, and earn the same kind of living. So again, that's what we're trying to create. We've hacked together an MVP. We've still got a long way to go. Here's our lovely little team. And we'll talk about karma points if you want to bring that up in question and answer. We just got lucky enough to have a whole engineering, a group of 6 people actually who are coming on starting Monday to code MVP number 2, if you will. So some other things going on, but I'm going to wrap this up and say thank you very much for listening. Any questions? Sure.
What's your goal with MVPs 2?
I'm glad you asked. That was part of the slides I didn't get to. So we're going social. So one of the huge issues that's come up as we're doing user experience interviews and things is well, how can I trust this person? Are they, who are they? And we've determined through research that people trust who their friends trust and through who their colleagues trust. And people ask for recommendations on Facebook all the time, and who's a good babysitter or landscaper or whatnot. So what we're doing is we're adding in the ability for people to just instantly see who their friends and family work with, so they can say, oh, Laura's really picky, I'm going to choose her babysitter because I know that she's probably vetted them well. So yeah. Any other questions?
What's a karma point?
So like I said, back at the time, I was too broke to hire a statistics teacher. So I came up with this idea of karma points. If I show up and I help someone else, either by hiring them to do a service for me or by performing my own service, then you earn back karma points every time a transaction happens, and then you can spend those basically dollar for dollar. Why would somebody accept a karma point? Is that when you're on social services, you're penalized for earning money, but you should be able to earn those karma points and then exchange them for getting people, to do things for you. So.
Nice.
How many people here know about social services? Just to, okay, so not a lot of people. I was also in social services myself, like maybe 8 or so years ago. So the minimum amount that you're allowed to earn before they actually start taking away your money is about $1,200. It's about $1,200, and that's period.
Yeah.
The moment you earn
per year,
huh?
per year.
Per year? Oh, lower?
No, I don't know. I'm asking you. Is that $1,200 a year?
No.
It depends on what social service you're on.
Right.
Whether it's childcare, and they have all these welfare to work programs that wonderful Bill Clinton put into place. Everybody's like, yay! But what that really does is it just forces people who aren't really ready to get into the normal workforce to take all these menial jobs, and a lot of them are not doing anything close to what they love or what they're actually good at. They just are forced to get off of welfare and into a job. So,
right.
Yeah.
It was just to provide some context as to why this is a good idea.
Definitely, yeah. It is a super low threshold, and you are penalized pretty quickly. And then oftentimes you'll get these overpayments, where you're paying all this back pay on food stamps and stuff just because you tried to get a job and do the right thing. So yes.
How are points generated?
Every time there's a transaction, the person earns about 10 to 20% of the what they spent back in points. And as you know, because you're on the site, you can actually use those points to get all kinds of cool things done for yourself. Yeah.
How do you monetize for the staff of MyPeopleNow, for yourself?
Yeah, so good question. So right now our model is like a flat 20% per transaction. However, because we're all about listening to the customers and what they want, we've learned that that's too high. So in exchange for lowering the percentage down to 10%, all we ask in return is that the people work with us to create high quality listings that people are actually attracted to. So one of the things that we're rolling out with our new interns are videos, people being able to say, hey, this is me, this is what I do, here's my work, and then also verification, verifying their phone number and things like that. So we're trying to work with people to bring the percentage as low as possible, because we think that that'll benefit us in the long run anyway, because more transactions will occur. Yeah.
How is it working, getting a diversified service pool, and where are you seeing the majority of people come in at? And then subtext question, how many techies do you actually have offering services?
Not a lot of techies. So actually, and I'm really glad you asked this question. So we got a little feature in GeekWire, and that was awesome, which led to us getting picked up by this company called Steady, which Shaquille O'Neal put $9 million in. And they, for some reason, thought we were cool enough to put up there with Uber and TaskRabbit and all these other big names. And there's little old MyPeopleNow, and so thousands of people started registering on our site, and we're like, where are these people coming from? Look at the logs. What are they saying? And they were coming from this. So, that's where we're getting the majority of them. It's kind of interesting because when we've advertised on Craigslist, we get kind of lower quality services. We don't really know the right way to advertise to the people that are doing these really cool and interesting and unique things that we think are not, monetized online today. Any last question? Yes?
So do you have nannies or childcare services, and if you do, what does the platform do for vetting them?
Yeah, so great question. So currently we do not do any vetting. We want to remain open to all. And I know that's risky for some people. I happen to be an incredibly trusting person myself, and I've invited dozens of these people into my home and into my life, and they've all treated me amazingly and wonderfully. So I like to believe that people are good people. However, we encourage people to trust their gut and do what's in their best interest. You know, take time to interview them. You know, you can always message somebody before you're booking someone. And then in the future, we do want to have that social piece where it's like, oh, Melissa, you know, hires this babysitter. Well, that person's probably good enough for me if she trusts them. So. Escrow. So yeah, I mean, we basically, then for the payment side, we hold on to the payment so that if the person doesn't show up or they don't actually perform the service, we have a very friendly dispute resolution process, which thankfully we've never had to use because people have always shown up and come through for each other. So surprise. Anyway, thank you very much for listening.
Thank you.